You on now?
Coming on right now. Here we go. Say, man, what's going on? It's your boy Big Cell, FHO'S. You guys give me a volume check. Let me know if you can hear me. We are trying to broadcast this thing live. I am in the the secret location of GMS Racing, man. And as always, it's a pleasure to be here. That's right. I'm all the way in Uniontown, PA. To bring you this exclusive with my man Greg. You guys see the title. This is the builder of the fastest bagger in the world. It is what it is. It cannot be disputed. The title is up for. Thank you, baby. I'm good. Volume good. Greg, say something real quick. What about Greg's volume?
How you doing out there? You can hear me okay?
Turn it up. Somebody say turn it up. Somebody say we good. Somebody say turn it up. Turn it up. You want me to turn it up? More volume. Turn it up. You can do that. No sound. You talking about no sound. How you don't have no sound? Everybody else got sound. You don't have no sound. Hold on, matter of fact, I got something better for you than that. Hold on. Testing 1, 2. Hold on, let me go here. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna make sure we got the sound. Tamika said we good, so that's it. All right, so USB audio. Testing 1, 2. Okay, we good. Right.
Check. You got me on there?
We good. All right, go up a little bit more. I don't want to. All right, that should be it. That should be it. See what it sounds like. All right, so. Okay. All right, we on. It's good. All right, so.
Check. You got me on there?
Yeah. So you.
Okay, we can turn that off, right?
What?
The phone?
No. Oh yeah, we can turn.
Just the volume on.
Uh-huh. We just want to make sure. All right, that should be it. That should be it. All right, so I'm sitting here, like I told you guys, I'm all the way in Uniontown, PA, with my man Greg Dahl. I'm gonna let him explain himself, who he is, what got him into the race game, what got him into the motorbill game, and how does he feel to have the title as the builder of the fastest Harley-Davidson bagger in the world. I'm saying that. They haven't said it, but I'm telling you it's the fastest bagger in the world. Proven, tested, tried, every kind of race possible. The 8th, half a track, 18 in the go, 3 lights and a move and a wink of an eye. Every challenge has been accepted, and he has dealt with it on that level. So introduce yourself, tell the people who you are. And
Hi, I'm Greg Dahl. I have GMS Racing engines here in Uniontown, PA, and we do high performance and competition V-twin engines for people all over the world, really. And we're pretty simple down here. Uniontown's a small town. We got a nice big shop here, but it's a lot of old stuff in here. But we do the best with what we got. And we're pretty proud of what we've been able to do over the last 10 years even. And, you know, one of the big things we're known for now is, of course, building the King Kong bikes for Asim Chaudhry, which everybody knows as Gaddafi. And it's not been easy. We've invented some things. We've repaired some things. I think that the biggest ingredient that we have that seems to be putting us above everybody at this point, which we're very fortunate to be here. We're not bragging, but is the fact that me and Damon and Steve here at GMS and Gaddafi and Jimmy and a couple other the guys that's helping him on his end, we all came together and we work at this as a group, as a team, as a band. Everybody does their job. We got open lines of communication all the time between everybody that's involved doing this. And I don't think that in any time you get to this level of racing any kind of machine that just one person can do everything. And it ain't no one person's credit, and it's no one person's fault when things go wrong.
So where did racing come from with you? Where did it start at? Was
it
cars? Was it motorcycles?
Yeah, my dad always had antique cars and motorcycles, and he would take us to motorcycle races and car races and such. But he didn't race maybe when he was younger before us. But there was a guy across the street from us. His name was Jerome Lowry, and he had an old '63 Falcon Sprint and used to go to the drag strip. And then there was a guy next door to us for a time when I was a kid named Jimmy Schaefer, and had a Corvette that he drag raced. So it was in my neighborhood, and I kind of got interested in it when I was a kid. And as soon as I was old enough to get a driver's license, we started going to the drag strip, and we put old junk cars together and went out and raced them. Raced on the street, which is not a good idea anymore.
Okay.
But, I just kind of been around it all my life. My uncle had a garage and worked on cars, and I worked for him when I was a kid, and then I went to work for a machine shop at the Napa store for a while. And Jerome across the street there, his brother had a race engine shop, a small place. And over there I learned about flow benches and balancing engines and that kind of stuff. And then my Uncle Fred was into motorcycles, and he was in clubs for a while, and when he got back from Vietnam, and he showed up when I was a kid on this Triumph chopper with a big long front end, and that's kind of what got me started being interested in motorcycles.
So let me ask you this: as far as being raised around speed, being raised around all the metal, the machines, did it ever intimidate you, or it actually intrigued you more?
No, I was interested in it.
Yeah.
I wanted to do what those guys was doing.
Okay.
Hell, I was probably 16, 17 years old, and I was balancing engines on an old Stuart Warner strobe light balancer. And I know that there's people right now building NASCAR engines that don't know how to use one of them.
Okay.
Because of modern equipment, But I've just been around it all my life, like anything else, If you're exposed to it and you go for it, that's what you do,
So at no time did it ever scare you, the big motor? Because like how you bring kids around now, you start up a motorcycle, the motorcycle, then you started up.
I was around it since I was little.
Yeah, so.
I mean, when I was real small, 4 or 5 years old, me and my dad would get in his Model T. He has a 1914 Model T, wooden wheels, gas lights, crank it to start it. We'd go halfway across the country in that thing when I was just a little kid, and sometimes we'd be in the snow with it.
Dang.
So I was always around that kind of stuff. And, later when I got older, I got to steer it in the direction I wanted to go in.
So coming from cars, you said that's what originated from, cars, and it got into bikes. At what point did you find the need to say, hey, I want to start building motors for myself? Well,
I'd always worked in auto machine shops.
Okay.
And I got out of that for a while and went to work at Hillman Barge and Construction Company down the road here in Brownsville, and we built barges. I was there for 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I learned fabricating there and welding and metalwork. It was a really good experience. But towards the end of that job, I started, a friend of mine who's not with us anymore, Toad, he was my race car partner all through them young years. He wanted to go racing cars again. We'd already had a bunch of motorcycles and been riding and partying and going to the drag strip a little bit with him. But he still had his race car and wanted to go racing. So there was nowhere really we could get our work done anymore since I wasn't working in a shop. So I went and bought a valve grinder and a boring bar and some tools. And I started a little shop in the corner of my uncle's repair garage out there in Hopwood where we lived. And it wasn't even a year later, I didn't have time to go to work anymore.
Wow.
It just became a job.
Yeah.
And, I actually started this business with a valve grinder, a boring bar, and a box of tools, and quit a good paying job to do it. My dad thought I was crazy.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, is this always been a small town?
Yeah, Uniontown's, I think, population here is about 12,000.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other small towns outlaying around us in Fayette County. There's only 12,000 people here, and this is a county seat.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a small town. But, I mean, 50 miles up the road is Pittsburgh, Steel City.
Okay.
About 25 miles south is Morgantown, West Virginia, WVU Mountaineers.
Okay.
So, you know.
So here we are. You go from racing to riding. Or did you ride first and then get into racing? How did that work?
I was riding bikes first.
Riding bikes first.
But I'd already been drag racing cars, and when I seen them drag racing bikes at the track, it didn't take long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the need for speed instantly.
Yeah, yeah.
So even that, because see, what I'm saying is a lot of people that enter into or that see this type of thing and say, I can do that. How hard is it to drag race? A car or a motorcycle?
You know what? It's not hard to do at an entry level. That's the one nicest thing. Drag racing is, hands down, the largest participant sport in the world.
Okay.
There's more people drag racing than doing any other kind of automotive sport.
Okay.
Because the car that you drive back and forth to work, especially these new cars, all these new cars run good.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy a Hyundai, that's some bitch you go 13s.
Yeah.
You know. So you could drive your work car into the drag strip.
Yeah.
And race it. It's not hard to get into. I expose people to it all the time. Right now, the AMRA, which is American Motorcycle Racing Association,
Okay.
they have just been bought out after 35 years of being under the guidance of first Dane and then Marty Vandenheuvel for 20-some years.
I met old Marty.
You met Marty.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, the guys that bought it out and now are the new era are 4 guys, and 3 of those 4 guys, one of them being Burt Baker,
Okay.
I got into coming to AMRA. I got him into racing.
Okay.
So I've always tried to expose people. So it's not that hard to get into it.
I'm saying, like, what kind of balls do you have to go? I mean, what's the fastest you've ever been?
On a bike?
Yeah.
I've been 7s on friends' drag bike Suzuki's, actually a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, but on my own stuff.
How fast is that? When you say 7s, how fast is that? 200 miles, 300 miles?
No, it's about 175 miles an hour.
In a quarter mile, eighth of a mile?
Quarter mile.
175 miles an hour in a quarter of a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that scary? Is that...
You know what? It can be. It's scary. It can be, but it's more exciting than anything else.
Mm.
I know that every year, the first time I get on a bike, I got to have a talk with the Lord before I put my butt on there and make sure I'm going to have a passenger. You know what I mean? And but you catch up to it.
Yeah.
You know.
So is it like bike riding? You never forget it. You
never forget it. No, I can jump back on that thing and go.
Yeah.
But it's just a little nerve-wracking because, you know, first time of the year, you're always on a new machine.
Okay.
So, but you catch up to it.
Yeah.
You catch up to it. You know, like the first 2 or 3 runs, if you're on something really fast, which I'm calling fast, you know, really, if you're going 10s on a bagger, that's fast.
Yeah.
You ride a 10-second bagger on the street, you're the baddest guy in town.
Okay.
You know, we're exposed to these guys like Gaddafi and some of these other guys that are in the 9s and Gaddafi's in the 8s. But the first couple times you get on it, you can't hardly remember going down the racetrack. You're so excited and a little bit nervous, a little bit scared. Then the next couple times, you're comfortable. And you kind of remember a little bit's going. Hell, by the end of the weekend, you're going down through there, you're going on the fastest pass of your life, and you're going by and you go and it's like, oh man, that kid got an ice cream cone. You know, you're just kind of looking around. So, you know, you catch up to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like anything, you catch up to it.
GMS Racing. What is what is GMS Racing?
GMS Racing. GMS stands for Greg's Machine Service.
Okay.
I started doing automobile engines and top ends for shovel heads and pan heads. I've always worked on both kinds of engines. When we was doing car engines, it escalated to the point because of local people here that was into high-level racing. I got to work on some IHRA Mountain Motor Pro Stock engines back in the old days. I got to work on a couple Pro Mod engines, you know, the main one being Teddy Smith, the guy up the road here that used to race Pro Mods. And that was fun days because that's when Scotty Cannon and Tommy Mooney and Shannon Jenkins and them guys was all making IHRA really big back in, and we was racing with them. And you know, we got to qualify good a couple times. I met a lot of people.
Okay.
Then we moved on from there. I moved on from there. Ted got out of racing for a while, so I met Conrad Dahl, who owns Victory One Titanium Valves down in North Carolina. And at the time he was in Ohio, and he was racing Alki funny cars. Okay. And him and I struck off a friendship mainly because our last names are spelled the same. I think everybody out there thinks we're cousins. We don't tell them any different. And so I worked on those Hemis for about 5-6 years with him, and he turned me on to some guys he was racing with. And I had this little garage over across town up on the hill, about 4-car garage, and half of it was full of them aluminum block Hemis. I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
But in the background, I was always drag racing my bike.
Okay.
I had at that time a 102-inch Harley. I could run 1080s with it, ride it to the racetrack.
Yeah.
Run 1080s, ride it home. 25 years ago, that was a big deal to ride a bike like that on the street. Nowadays, lots of them, you know. But when Conrad moved down to North Carolina and got out of racing the funny cars, and my business started taking a different direction towards motorcycles because this just seems to be what was going on, I decided I was going to start being a little more serious about racing bikes.
Okay.
Because I couldn't afford, and still can't afford, to have a tractor trailer with a funny car in it, or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that hard to build a bike to go run AMRA, or back then it was the flash races that American Iron Magazine had. I could afford to do that. I could put a truck camper on my pickup, get a little trailer, and we could go to national races and get our picture in a magazine.
Yeah.
So that's why I went that way. And once I did go that way, and we started to be successful, and we started going to AMRA in 2007, which is 12 years ago, we was real successful there. The better we did racing, the more and more motorcycle work we started getting here in the shop. So GMS Racing Engines became a V-twin shop. And up until about 6 years ago, we cut all the car work off, and we haven't done nothing but motorcycles.
And y'all don't even, this shop, when I tell you machines, everything you do is in-house, correct?
We do everything in-house. I don't know if there's another place right now where you can have a custom hand-built chassis, a complete custom designed fuel injection system, the engine, the drive part, every single thing is done under this roof. We don't send anything out. I send a little bit of transmission work down to Mark at R&D Motorsports in Florida.
Yeah.
He's the best, and it's a little easier for us to have him do it rather than us set up another couple machines to do it.
Yeah.
So I can depend on what he does. But other than that, we do everything under one roof.
He has machines on top of machines, some of the old machines, new machines. So it definitely, because you just said you were somewhere else. And I'm imagine this shop is huge, but so you just over time just collected different machines.
Yeah, we've been here since 2003.
Wow.
So this is going to be 16 years I've been in this building.
Okay.
When I first came in, I had about, let me see, it was about 90 by 40. So what is that, about 3,000 square feet or so, 4 times 9, 20, 30, 200 square foot, whatever it is. And we got 14,000 square feet now. We came back into this area. We went next door, and then now we just went over another block in the building. And
so you got the other side of the street now too?
Not side of the street, the building. This building's a whole city block.
Okay, so you got the whole thing?
We got half a city block right now.
Wow.
And of course, this is a small city, so it ain't like a city block in LA, but it's a half of a small town block.
Yeah. But it's huge. I'm just saying all of the different machines.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, like, do you have to be mathematically inclined to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need math. Fortunately, I was decent at math. I wasn't like Damon's. He's certified genius at math. He has degrees in it. Yeah. And but I was always good at it. We do all the calculating and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So, I've always been good at math. You got to be. Everything we do is math.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So.
Calculations, numbers, measurements.
Numbers, everything from the flow bench to machining, reading micrometers, setting up gauges. I used to have an old guy come around, was a friend of mine, and I don't even know if he's still with us now, it's been so long ago, but he used to say, we're machinists, we can do anything. Yeah. And, I've always taken that attitude that, we're machinists, we can do anything.
So let's fast forward a little bit. We're going to go back and forth, but let's fast forward. Here comes this kid, Gaddafi. and he comes in here and says, Greg, I want the fastest motorcycle in the world.
I got a story about me and him.
What you got?
I had been seeing him around for years, 20 years probably.
Okay.
And, you know, he had swagger, right? Long hair, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wanted to race.
Okay.
And I was just getting really into biking, racing bikes heavy about the same time, you know. But I had this 140-inch FXR, and we was running 940s, 930s with it, still riding it on the street.
Yeah.
And he had some shops around, build choppers and other bikes for him, and he'd be at the drag strip some. He wasn't real serious. He was playing around, you know. But I kind of stayed away from him because I didn't know what he was about.
Yeah.
You know, so I just kind of stayed away, and you know, here comes thing. He kind of thought I was a nut too, so we just kind of stayed away from each other. Not because there was a problem, we just never got acquainted.
You wasn't
know?
in the same circles.
No.
Yeah.
But I knew who he was.
Yeah.
Well, he had gone through a bad build somewhere else, and was going through trying to get that remedied. And he called me up, and he said, "I want you to work on this bike. Can you fix it for me?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'll fix it for you. I'll take a look at it." So in the meantime, we started getting that first bike fixed up and going. He come to me and he says, "I want to build the fastest, I want the fastest bagger in the world. Can you do that?"
Yeah.
And my answer was, "I'd like to try.
Yeah.
If you're willing to live through the curve that it takes."
Yeah.
Because there's a learning curve, there's a development curve.
Okay.
And then you have to learn all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, if you're not willing to learn everything it takes,
to take the losses, to take the wins,
right,
to take the,
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I don't care what it costs. I said, I didn't ask you how much.
Yeah. how
much money I wanted. I'm not worried about the money.
Yeah.
Because if somebody comes in here and lays a pot of gold on my desk and says, I want that bike, if they don't know how to ride the bike, maintain the bike, race the bike, bring it home and take care of it, and all that stuff, if they don't know how to do that, they'll go out there and look bad with that bike, and that's going to cost me in the end, no matter how much money they give me. Okay. Plus, I feel when someone spends this kind of money on a machine, they need to learn how to take care of that equipment.
Okay.
If you can't take care of the equipment, don't do it. Don't do it. You can't get a pilot's license just because you bought an airplane.
Period.
So that's the way I look at it. So Gaddafi come in, back to the story. He said, I want the fastest bagger in the world. So we put one bike together for him, which was the first iteration of King Kong.
Okay.
And back here, I was riding it and figuring out the machine and trying to get it going. And he went down to Atlanta to a street race.
To my race, to one of my races.
To one of your races. And you had money on him.
Yep, and lost.
And he was not ready.
Yeah.
And I told him, you're not ready, don't go.
Yeah.
And he said, I got to go. I said, well, you're not ready. I said, we need another week, we need another couple months to practice and learn how to do all this. And he didn't do bad, but he got beat.
Yeah. He got beat
and
by
the first interview, when you were here, the first interview a few years ago, the only thing I kept hearing in the background was saying, hey, Gaddafi, I want my money back. I want my money back. But I tell you who beat him was Mr. Jules.
Mr. Jules, yeah. Julius.
And now Julius still tells us, man, I wish I'd have never beat you because you made me pay for that so many times. but Jules, I love you, brother. Yeah. I love you. But so that ended up being a good thing.
Yeah.
Because he's seen how important, I think, the preparation was to do this. So he came back, and I never seen anybody take shit as serious as he did. When he committed, he committed. He made Rocky Balboa look lazy. He committed. He lost weight, especially in these last few months. But even before, he was losing weight.
After that loss, he got serious with it.
It changed it.
Yeah, after that loss, because I mean, and understand this. We had already built the hype up. It was the Thriller Manila fight, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. You feel what I'm saying? He came all the way, and then Julius was a sleeper. See, we didn't even know who Julius was.
Yeah.
We hadn't even no clue of who Julius was. And Julius, and I'm gonna tell you something like this, Julius. Julius pulled the old man stunt. He pulled up, hey man, are we racing? I got a brand new bike. I just want to see what it does. Julius, that was a good one. He was a sleeper, and him and Gaddafi racing, he beat Gaddafi, and it was still a cool race, like you said. But Gaddafi was ready. But ever since then, it's been hands down. He ain't playing no game.
And then after that, we went to Fayetteville the first time with that same bike. And I rode it down there. Yeah. And I don't want to call the guy out and say who it was, but there was a gentleman down there from another shop with a blown bike. Yeah. And there was a lot of talking on the internet about this race. And we went down there, and Gaddafi told me, he says, let's get down and make a pass, and we'll turn the clocks off. Yeah. Well, I went down and made a run on the bike, and it don't matter now. The bike went 973 or 4 or something. And those guys seen us make the run. And instead of us racing for 8 hours, because all they did was negotiate and jaw jack. You got the film. Yeah, call Marcel. You can get the film. It's available at FHO. But so they ended up breaking the bike trying to figure it out. Yeah. So, and this is where Gaddafi changed bagger racing. This was the race where it left the street and went to the drag strip and turned on the clocks. I told Gaddafi, I says, why don't we turn the clocks on and let everybody know what we got? Because everybody was secretive. Street racing, don't turn the clocks on, lights out.
And that's one of the things, too. That's one of the biggest pet peeves that I used to have with Gaddafi. Like, dude, quit telling everybody what you got, how fast you're going, because we can't get no bets. We can't get no races. We can't get no bets.
Well, see, that didn't matter to me because I'm not a bettor. I'm not into that stuff. I always raced with sanctioned racers. Yeah,
head ups. Yes.
So I told him, let's turn the clocks on. I says, look at all these people. There was 3,000 people hanging over the guardrail. I says, show these people what we got. Yeah. And you know what? He said, you know what? You're right. Let's do that. And we turned on the clock, and I made that pass. And the film, I remember the film. Yeah. I think it was it Roy? One of them guys, 9:59, God damn it, 9:59. Yeah. Well, ever since then, the clocks have been on ever since then. Period. And you know what? The people watching this shit knows what everybody's running.
And that was one of the things that I fought for. Is like, you can't, when you put on a race of that magnitude, an event of that magnitude, we're not talking about an AMRA sanctioned race. Right. We're talking about a street track race. We're talking about
it's still grudge race.
It's grudge race. So the people pay for that. They pay to come see.
It was
because
good.
Everybody don't know, all they know is the numbers. Like, wow, he went. Like I just asked you, you said 7-second bike. Well, how fast is that? So that's all we know. Oh, he went 100 miles an hour. He went this many seconds. And the people pay to see that.
Well, here's what turning the clocks on did for this bagger scene. Up until we turned the clocks on, and up until we let everybody see those spot boards, it was a bunch of 10-second bikes, and 1 9-second bike was us. That was it.
That was it.
But once we turned the clocks on and everybody said, damn, them guys went in the 9s. Yeah. Now there's probably 30 9-second bikes and 1 8-second bike. Yeah. So with the clocks on, now everybody has a target to shoot for. The bikes are getting faster because we turned the clocks on. That's what I think. Yeah. And, the nice thing about that, too, is those guys on the West Coast, they can bang out a number and they can put it on the internet, and they can say, look, I ran this. And the guys on the East Coast said, wow, look at that. Look what he did. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. It links everybody up. Yeah. And then another thing, too, is there ain't no more of this.
Well, they still doing a whole bunch of jaw
jacking, but not the same way. Yeah. Once that clock comes on, the bullshit's over. So that's what I like. I mean, that's where I come from. I know it ain't the mainstream when you get out there in the cities and guys are street racing. I know that's still going on. That's cool. It's just not what I'm into.
No, the bikes are going too fast now. And that's one of the reasons why I shut down my movement on the street. I shut it down because the bikes are going too fast. Yeah. Even that race with Gaddafi and Julius. When Gaddafi, if he almost hit that curve, it was, everybody,
bikes are too fast.
When he left that hole and went straight to the curb,
NHRA's having that trouble with their fuel dragsters. They're going too fast. Yeah. Things are getting fast. So I'm glad to see it on the drag strip. I think it also, nobody in this grudge racing, when it was all street racing, you might have had credit and recognition amongst all your peers that you're racing with.
Mm-hmm.
But in the bigger drag racing community, nobody cared what you guys was doing.
Yeah.
Now, since we're on the drag strip and the clocks are on,
Yeah.
you guys are on dragbike.com, right?
Yeah.
We're on Cycle Drag.
We are everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere because the clocks are on. We're on the drag strip where everybody can see what's going on. It's legit.
And one of the things, too, I tell people.
And it means something. There's history.
And even with FHO brought it to the mainstream.
You was the first one to bring it out.
Hey.
First one.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give shout-outs to my West Coast HD TVs and everybody out there.
There was other guys doing it, Marcel, but I think you was the first guy that rounded everybody up and said, let's do this together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get together and do it. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know.
So for a person that has, let's talk about this. The Milwaukee-Eight versus the V-Twin, which is the better motor?
Well, the V-Twin, which is the twin cam. I think when I look at the Milwaukee-Eight, they're both good motors. I think the twin cam is better from a competition standpoint.
Okay.
Because the valve train's tougher. And
okay.
I think you're going to be able to spin it higher. In my opinion, the M8 is simply a bridge to connect into the next generation engines, which are probably going to be overhead cam.
Okay.
When I look at that motor with a single cam and those short heads, it looks like it wouldn't take much to convert that engine to overhead cams. Okay, so that's what I see.
So you think this is a plot to go into the next phase?
I think that they just needed those 4 valve heads to get through emissions.
Yeah.
And they could meet emissions plus make a little bit more power, try to keep the engine noise down. The designers of factory vehicles have to deal with stuff that we don't care about.
Yeah.
You know, so that has to deal with that. But I don't think that the motor is durable valve train wise as a twin cam V-twin or even an Evo for that matter.
Okay.
You know, I mean, we're spinning Evos 8,200 RPM. We're spinning twin cams almost 9,000.
Okay.
And maybe they can get a Milwaukee-Eight to turn that high, but it's the valve train's not as good as a twin cam.
One thing I noticed, and this is I was going to do my review, and I'll spill a little bit of it now. I've been doing my homework. One thing I have noticed is that the V-twin is more violent than the M8. It's more aggressive, shall I say? It's a more aggressive.
If you look at them both in racing situations, there's some guys out there got them running, got the M8s running. I mean, them guys are. I think Broski's in the 9s with his.
Okay.
And there's a couple of them else out there that's probably been in the low 10s. But that 4-valve head will give you a lot more mid-range power, which is friendly power. That's power you can pedal.
Okay.
When you start talking about a 2-valve, like a twin cam or like the pro stock stuff that we use, those heads will perform probably a lot better, but you got to wind them up higher.
Yeah.
Now, when you start winding them up higher, yeah, it is violent. So now you got to get in the clutch. You got to use timing retards.
I'm just saying, like even a stock 103 versus the new Milwaukee-Eight. The 103 to me is just more aggressive. It's more. It just has stock to stock. It's just the 103 to me is more aggressive. That's just.
I think you have to run it. You have to run it harder to keep up with the new motors.
Okay.
So that's what I look at. But
anybody that's watching, if they wanted to, what is a basic motor work upgrade? If somebody say, hey, I just want to touch up my motor, what would that consist of?
Well, really, whether it's a twin cam or an M8, you're looking at on the baseline would be intake, the air cleaner setup, cam change, an exhaust system, and a tune.
Okay.
That's a nice upgrade, and that's enough power in either format that you can put your old lady on the back. You can hit the highway and run 80 mile an hour anywhere you want to go, and have some pedal, have some throttle left.
How much does something like that cost?
You know, I don't price everything out here. Damon does that up in the front office. But rather than me quote something that's not right, I'm going to have to tell you. You know, if anybody's interested, you can give us a call. We're always glad to talk with you.
And is that a long process? What you
No. What we do is, even if it's a big build, we talk with you, have a little consultation, decide what we're going to do. If you pull the trigger on a build, we get a deposit. We order all the parts. Once the parts land, I call you up and say, hey, your parts are here, bring your bike in. Okay. And then it's usually anywhere between a few days or a month, depending on how radical of a build it is. Now, when you get into custom work, There's no delivery date on custom work.
Yeah.
Because the economy is booming right now, and the people in the motorcycle industry above my head, like the big companies that make all the parts that we use, are having a hard time getting parts manufactured. I tried to buy some flywheels from a company in New England a couple months ago, and they couldn't make my flywheels for me because they're making airplane parts.
Wow.
So the economy's booming, and there's not enough manufacturing capacity to keep up. So if I take a custom job in, whether it be a 132, a 150, a Pro Stock, whatever, I cannot give a delivery date at this time. We'll work on it as hard and fast as we can, providing we get the parts.
Yeah.
So that's different, and that's what we're really specialized in is those custom giant builds.
Yeah, custom giant builds. So the small builds you'll take them, but
we do lots of them. Okay. I love that work.
Yeah.
Because we can use our expertise and our knowledge and our experience that we gained on all this racing stuff. It makes our street engines better.
Yeah.
If there's 10 shops on the street, and one of them got a racing trailer sitting in front of it, that's the guy everybody goes to.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can ask a lot of the other guys out there that are racing, that feeds their shop. It really does.
At this point, building King Kong and King Kong and Baby Kong.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, my program finally.
You say, I can finally get to do my thing.
I get to do my thing.
Yeah.
A few years ago, Stacy Bortz, my girlfriend, we went out beginning of 2016, first AMRA race of the year. She went right into the 820s, set all the records, won the race, and before she even got her helmet off, there was somebody that wasn't even there that was calling people at the racetrack telling them we were cheating.
Wow.
And up until that point, everything that I had developed, I shared with everybody that I raced against because I wanted everybody to be able to run fast.
Okay.
And once these guys turn on you, I can't help but carry a grudge. You know, I'm friendly with the people now, but I don't forget. So what we did, that created problems, and we just been racing the same equipment since 2016. I haven't changed my engines. I haven't changed nothing. We've come out with some new chassis designs, but what I've been doing, I quit racing at that point myself and started on a new project that's a massive undertaking. We're manufacturing our own intakes, our own cylinder heads, our own engine cases, and we're going to be moving on into flywheels and connecting rods pretty soon. What I'd like to have in about 3 or 4 years is a turnkey billet racing engine that we make right here.
Make the whole motor.
Right. So I haven't been able to race, and I hear static all the time in my world in Outlaw Street. Oh, GMS ain't doing shit, and they're not doing this. And that. Well, you know what? Whoever's saying that, fuck you. I don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah.
And my new stuff, I'm trying to get ready as soon as I can. I'd like to have it out this year. If I do, if I do with this new program, what I hope is going to happen, I'm going to update all the customers that I have in my shop right now, Gaddafi being one of them. And then once all my customers are updated and satisfied, then we'll start selling parts to the outside competitors.
Okay.
But, you know.
So are you saying you're going to get back into racing as well?
I'm coming back.
You coming back?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
Greg Dahl, vengeance. Vengeance is mine. So.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think some of these guys, you know what? I ain't got nothing to hide. I think these fucking guys forgot what it's like to have to race me. Well, I'm coming back, and if I fail, I fail, but I'm gonna come back with this new stuff, and hopefully we're gonna move things up about another 4 rungs on this ladder.
Wow.
So,
Gaddafi, can he go faster? This weekend he said he was gonna try to go. Can he go faster?
We just ran the 2nd fastest pass ever on that bike.
Yeah.
At Keystone, which is where we're gonna race this weekend.
Yeah.
And he went from 2nd straight to 4th gear. He skipped 3rd gear, double button hit.
Wow.
And it still went the 2nd fastest pass ever.
So you saying if he had to hit the 3rd gear, it would have been faster?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's more in it. One thing is, this may be one of the last couple of races for that combination.
Okay.
Because we have a new combination coming for that is part of the program for my own stuff.
Yeah.
one thing I do for my customers, there's a bunch of us. There's me, Stacy, Gaddafi, Dan Dennis from Western Wisconsin, Mike Moto in North Carolina, Keith Richter in Spartanburg, South Carolina, Tim Grindle, who I rent my building off of and owns a building across the street and all that stuff. Those guys are all in Florida now. But all the guys that race out of here, I try to keep everybody's stuff on level with what we run out of here.
Okay.
Okay? Right now, Tim has a new Jessel valve train on his bike, and he's been as fast as 808, which makes him the second quickest of all time. And
what kind of bike?
Sportster.
Sportster.
But they're street bikes, no wheelie bars.
No wheelie bars.
And he ran those times at Rockingham last year on a motor that was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And once again, we're being called a liar, and once again, I don't give a fuck. So, but that's just the truth. And once we get this new stuff done, you're going to see King Kong go faster than it's ever gone on motor with no nitrous, nothing.
Because right now, King Kong is on nitrous, and then
small hit of nitrous.
Yeah. And Baby Kong is on
Baby Kong's all motor because the AMRA rules stipulate 135 inches stock wheelbase, which is they call stock 65 inch, and one throttle blade.
What do we say? Because Gaddafi gets it. I get it all the time. Yeah, Sel, but it's really not a Harley. I mean, it is, but it really isn't.
Are them NASCARs really Chevys? Are they really Dodges and Toyotas? And Toyota don't even make a motor.
Yeah.
It's racing, man.
Yeah.
It's racing. What we do, I'm going to tell everybody what it is. It's a stock bagger frame. It's a stock front fork. You sit in the stock place. The floorboards are hanging on the bike, but it's a racing machine.
Yeah.
And I got something to say about that too, but it's a racing machine, and we are adhering to enough stock design principles, even internally in the engine.
Yeah.
Knife and fork rods, are still using cantilever rocker arms. We're adhering to the design principles, so the soul is still there of that original design.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's a racing machine. Does it look like a street bike? Sure. Can you ride it on the street? Maybe, but I don't want to burn up all that money by getting stuck in traffic and ruining an engine.
Yeah.
It's a racing bike. So we call them street bikes. Street outlaws call their cars street cars. Yeah. They ain't street cars.
No.
So
you're not going to go get no groceries in it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of them do. There's a guy, I can't remember some of their names now, but Jeff Lutz and some of them guys, he's from Pittsburgh. They were supposed to be at Keystone tonight. I mean, he's driven those cars across country and ran fives.
Whoa.
But they're not a street car like me and you drive.
Yeah.
And these ain't street bikes like me and you drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but one thing I want to say about this. In Outlaw Street, Hot Street, and bagger racing, when we started some of these design changes 3, 4, 5 years ago, everybody was getting on me about it. When we went to Outlaw Street and I showed up with the first drop seat chassis, and the first time that the motor was so far forward that the rocker cover's hanging over the back of the front wheel, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
And then once I showed him it worked, then he tried to get me thrown out.
Yeah.
Now they all look like my bike. All the Outlaw Street bikes follow our silhouette.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. Maybe some of them guys say, I thought of this myself. I don't care, whatever, but what I'm seeing is I had bikes that looked like that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Gaddafi. We showed up with an air shifter, a stretched swing arm, the front end pulled down, weight hanging here and there, and giant engines. That ain't a street bike. That ain't fair. That ain't. Now they're all like that.
Yeah.
So, love me or hate me, I'm glad that we had the opportunity to bring this stuff out, and now everybody's participating in it. It's a great thing. Okay. Even those bikes down south that they're racing, and we raced them in North Carolina.
Yeah.
They're nice and shiny, and the one we raced with ain't, because that's our mode, our deal right now.
Yeah.
But the silhouette's the same.
Yeah.
They look the same.
Yeah.
As our bikes.
That part.
So
shout out to my man Jeff Schultz and Byron Small. Appreciate you guys. Quick question. Got a question from Build, Ride, Repeat. What does it take to get a bagger into the tens?
I tell you what I would do for a 10-second bagger is go out and find yourself a Road King, Evo Road King or Twin Cam Road King, but get that 5-speed transmission on a Road King.
So you want a 5-speed?
5-speed transmission. Go get yourself you could get a 124 S&S crate motor.
Okay. Or
me or another shop can build you a motor, but you get that Road King, put a little bit of swing arm stretch on it, let Market R&D do the transmission, put a big motor in it. You can ride that bike on the street and run 10s.
Wow. Hey, now I just gave you some major game. You asked the question, he answered it. 5-speed transmission, Road King. The catch is the 5. So that's the older motor.
The older stuff, and you can go way fast on these new M8s.
Yeah.
But that transmission, the gearing in that transmission is not good gearing for drag racing. Okay? It can be.
Yeah.
But you got to leave in second gear. It's too much. That 5-speed runs. You get Market R&D Motorsports in Florida to do that transmission for you and stick it in the bike. Get a clutch with a lockup. It's not super easy, but it ain't super hard either.
Yeah. Is it super expensive?
Not terribly, not compared to what we do with some of this high-end stuff.
Yeah.
I bet if you have a Road King and 25, 30 grand to throw in it and are smart with your money, I think a 10-second bike can be built, maybe 35 grand. And that's something, I mean, you can run it a lot. It won't break down on you.
Okay. Road King, 5-speed, 25, 30 grand. You feel what I'm saying? Let's make it happen.
Here's another thing. If you don't want to run an air shifter,
yeah,
Baker has shift kill drums.
Okay.
You put that drum on there and you hold that thing wide open, step on it, it shifts. You don't have to you don't have to touch a clutch, nothing.
Nothing, just.
And Baker has all kind of products for this kind of stuff. Now, if you do want to run a 6-speed bike, you can do that. You got to have that Baker grudge box. That thing won't break
at all.
The rest of them, third gear's breaking in them, stock 6-speeds. So we stay away from them.
Okay. My man Street Rozzy, how do you go about finding a racing scene to be a part of it? FHO. You own the page.
Well, depends on you know what.
And then you got the AMRA. I'm sorry, you got the AMRA.
AMRA's out there. I'll tell you another thing too. If there's a local drag strip, go to your local track. If they don't have a motorcycle class, go to another local track and just go hang out. You don't have to go race. Go hang out, watch, go talk to the guys. Man, that's how I got into it. I went to the races and started hanging out.
Yeah. So, all in all, coming from where you started from, now having this bill, how do you feel?
Tired.
Tired?
I'm tired.
You tired?
I'm tired. 7 days, long days.
We can't lose you. You're the best we got right now.
Well, I know. I'm not going nowhere. I can work tired. I'm just tired.
You're just tired, huh?
No, it's been good.
What would you like to see in the future?
Well,
besides you coming back, knocking everybody out, retaining the record again, and
yeah, that's what I want to do. But I tell you what I want to see. Is right now the industry. There's all kind of work out there. There's all kind of opportunity for this performance industry to grow. I want to see the industry come back to where it used to be, to where you can open up a catalog and order all the stuff that you need and build your own drag bike. You can't do that right now. You have to go to all these little places, which is cool. I'm glad them little guys is out there. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
But the industry, S&S right now, it completely closed down all their racing stuff except for pro stock. And that's the big boys on TV and their trailer trucks and jet airplanes. They ain't us.
Yeah.
And you can't. All this racing stuff is going away. That's why I'm starting to make my own parts.
Yeah.
We're making our own stuff now because you can't buy it anymore. I would like to see the industry come back and service the race. I want some recognition. I want this racing in the magazines.
Yeah.
Again, I want it on television. I want people to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And get it big again.
Okay. Give them GMS. Give them the location, address, phone number.
GMS Racing Engines, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. 724-438-0738. We're awful busy. Sometimes the phone will ring and ring. If we pick it up and don't have time to talk to you, we'll find time at another time. But call us. And
they
if we
working,
can help
man.
you,
They
we
working.
will.
Y'all know what it is. They working, man. They ain't got time to be asking you because you're going to be asking all these little tedious ass questions. Call the man. Tell him how much money you got and let him put it together. It's just that simple.
Right. One thing I used to do is we used to really try to help everybody that called, and it's just so busy right now. Unless somebody's bringing something here, or if they're racing with us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have time to talk to them, but we do our best.
Yeah. Well, trust me. I mean, taking this time off of this
Somebody
interview.
wants something and they're ready to come in, call me.
Yeah. And even taking the time off of this interview, I appreciate you. Greg, one of the things I'm going to tell you, man, and from day one of meeting you, it's always a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
You're a beautiful dude, a stand-up dude, and you just are just down to earth, and you don't mind sharing the knowledge, and that's something that's a lost art, you know.
Well, we keep there's some things we keep to ourselves until we get it out there.
Yeah.
Now, once that stuff's going down the racetrack, we share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Even I've been stabbed in the back after sharing information, but it's the only thing I can do to help grow the scene.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see the bagger scene start getting together with AMRA at a race or two a year, and we are working on that with the new people. So you can look at 2020. What I would like to see is a big bagger race in conjunction with one of our big AMRA races.
I already got the name for it. I already got the AMRA Grudge Division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll have to talk to them guys and see. But I'm telling you,
AMRA FHO Grudge Division.
Let me say another thing too about what we're doing here, Marcel. What's going on here with AMRA and with all the grudge racing is we are a broad cross section of Americans here.
Period.
I mean,
black, whites, Asian, Mexican, whatever.
It don't matter.
Well, that's one thing about racing, though. The color of your skin is totally relevant.
I didn't even notice you was a black guy till fourth time I met you.
That part right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, first time Gaddafi come, we took him to Bowling Green with us for the first time. And I mean, now we're down there in the middle of the South. Them guys all got their Confederate flags up. Yeah. And he was worried about it. He thought they was going to think. What did he tell you? He thought he was going to be Al Qaeda. Man, them guys loved him. Yeah. They loved him. And first time I went to your race, man, I seen all these guys I thought I was in a rap video. And then you all fighting with each other and screaming, and I'm like, oh, God damn. Yeah. Man, I had the best time in the world. And that was just the beginning. And what has happened now is it's all starting to do this. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's awesome.
Well, see, that's one thing, too, though, is that, and even, not to deviate from this, but that's one thing that's going on in the world right now, even with the police force. They're not taking the time to know the community. Because like you said, you thought the argument was, and that was just a regular conversation. Yeah. Remember you asked me, you say, Sell, is everything all right? That's all, they just talking. Yeah. You're like, for real? You know, like, yo, why?
See, down here, when it gets to that point, we start fisting and shooting. You know, but see, you know what though, Sal? I'm not from a city. I don't see that police stuff in the city. Yeah. We're a small town here. Yeah. Man, our police are cool. Yeah. Matter of fact, just yesterday, it was on Pittsburgh television station, our local officer here, Tom Klenchek, a kid over here in one of the neighborhoods across Redstone Creek over here, found somebody's puppy stuck on a rock out in the middle of the creek, and this kid walked up to a police car and said, there's a puppy stuck down here in the creek. The guy parked his car and went down the creek and got this puppy. Yeah. You know, I mean, we're in a small town here. It's cool. Yeah. Well, you know,
you gotta understand this, man. I'm coming from Compton, California, and I've seen it all.
Right.
You know, I've seen the good cops, the bad cops.
You've seen it all.
I've seen everything.
Yeah.
You know, even coming here, like one of the things I try to do when I get a rental car is I don't want Florida plates because of the stipulation.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's just what it is, man. But what I'm telling you is when you come to the track, man, that shit is just totally eliminated. It's all about racing.
It's like a family reunion, man.
Period. You know,
it's cool.
And that's the beautiful thing, too, about racing. And I have to say that, hands down. That's why I love it. That's why whenever Gaddafi called, you guys call.
One of my favorite pictures I got, and it's in there on my wall somewhere, is when we went to Atlanta last year. Mm-hmm. and Gaddafi won with both bikes.
Okay.
And he had all his boys down there from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
There was about 50 of them.
Yeah.
And we had this big group picture.
I remember. Took it over there by the trailer.
And there was only one hunky, and it was me. And I mean, I stuck out like a grain of rice.
Hey,
and I love that picture.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
Hey, man.
Because you know what? I felt at home. And when those guys are with me, they feel at home with me. It ain't no bullshit. I don't give a fuck who you are or where you come from. And, you know, people forgot how to laugh about who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People forgot that. And that's what I like about what we got to do, what we're doing. We're getting all you guys and us guys together, and it's awesome. We have big races. We have good races.
Yeah, we do. All right, the $1 million question. We're going. How much does it take? How much does it cost to beat Gaddafi?
Oh,
if I came in here and said, Greg, I want to beat Gaddafi, I got a suitcase.
Did George put you up to that?
No, I'm just saying. I got a suitcase full of money. How much does it cost me? I want to beat Gaddafi. How much is it going to cost me?
Well, the only thing is, if we did that, you know, Gaddafi's going to come back and want to go up again.
Wait, until then, how much does it cost to beat Gaddafi?
I can't answer that because we don't know what it takes yet.
Yeah. We haven't put the formula together.
I mean, everybody knows that you can spend $100,000 on one of these bikes.
Okay.
Okay. We just finished one for Keith Richter, and just the rolling chassis, $10,000. And he thought that was cheap.
Yeah.
You know, and but sooner or later, somebody's going to come down. They're going to whip Gaddafi. There was a long time when I was undefeated.
Yeah.
I set 30 national records and had 4 or 5 championships. And, I mean, I would lose a race here and there, but, I mean, by and large, I was invincible. And now, I mean, since we decided to draw back and start this new program, I mean, we've been getting beat a lot.
Yeah.
It don't mean that we still ain't got our shit together.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, somebody's going to take Gaddafi out. And if they do, I'll shake their hand and pat them on the back because they fucking earned it.
That part.
But how much it cost, I don't know.
I just wanted to throw that in there. As always, Greg, it's been my pleasure.
All right,
man.
Marcel.
Is there anything you want to tell the people before you go?
Yeah. I know that I'm outspoken.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think I'm an asshole. A lot of people think I'm a nice guy. I love all of you.
Yeah.
All right?
Good dude, man. Trust me, if y'all already know me, I don't fuck with if he wasn't a good dude, or if he was a racist or any motherfucking thing else you guys want to say, I wouldn't even be fucking with him. I wouldn't be giving him this time, this exclusive time. I wouldn't be all the way out here in Uniontown, PA. You feel what I'm saying? Greg is my friend. I love him. I appreciate him. He knows I call him. He answers. He calls me. And it just is what it is, man. So I definitely thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming up.
Hey, man, as always, man. If you want to see the shop, I did a video about that some time ago. Look it up. I'm not going to show you the shop today. This was an exclusive with my man, Greg. But I'll be interviewing him all weekend. We'll be, chopping it up. Stay tuned. We'll be doing a races live. And everything. How you like the new setup? How you like, as far as...
Loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it. We're bigger. We're going to open a storefront speed shop pretty soon over next door. I'll show you around. Yeah. Maybe later this year you can come up and we can do the shop.
That part right there, man. Okay. Well, there it is there, man. It's your boy, Big Cell, FHO'S. As always, man, I leave you guys with 5 things. Ride your own ride. Have enough love in yourself that you can love me and Greg whenever we need some love, whenever we need that, that little extra love. Stay in your own lane, mind your business. And 2019, as we say, FHO, we're going to love the ride and ride for love, man. And that's what it is. This weekend, Keystone Raceway, 538 Stone Jug, and Alexandria, PA is going down. Gaddafi is trying to break the record. He also got a grudge race, too, with, who is it with?
Frank.
With Frank, yeah.
Frank Wojtek, and I would imagine there's going to be a couple other pop-ups.
You think there's going to be some?
Yeah. Hey, support your local drag strips. Go to your local drag strips, watch them guys, hang out.
Yeah.
And you might want to do it someday.
That part right there, man. That's what it is, man. It's your boy, Big Cell, FHO'S. I love y'all. Boom, 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 man. Salutes to you. All my veterans, salute. I love you. And everybody, man. So it is what it is, man. We got to get together. GMS Racing, the man, the builder of the fastest bagger in the world. So he's the man. It is what it is. Can't take that away from him. And we here this weekend. I'm in town. I will be. I think the hotel is. Well, just hit me up if you're in Pittsburgh. Hit me up. Let's chill. Let's hang out. Do whatever. I'm here until Monday morning, and we're going to have a good time, man. So stay tuned. Peace.